we are live. So, thank you very much for everyone for joining in for the 28th Gravitas Win Show. I cannot express my thankfulness enough to all of you. You have been part of almost from the first session, and we are here on the 28th show every week. You all have been joining in. So I'm incredibly thankful to all of you to make this possible. And a special thanks to the speakers today. We have a wide range of speakers, about 5. So I'm thankful to all of them for accepting my invitation. Before we go into the session, I want to introduce the course that I run. The course name is Gravitas Wins. All of the speakers have taken that particular course. And Gravitas is like gravity, a pull force for leaders. If you want to achieve anything in your life, whatever level that you are in, you don't have to be an executive, but whatever level that you are in, you need to attract people to follow you, to do things for you. That is what I teach in Gravitas. It is basically competence and confidence that you are able to display. And how do you build that? You build it by wealth, insights, network, and self-control. That's how you build Gravitas. That's what I teach in the course. It's a 12-week course, weekly 1 hour that you have to spend. And it's a cohort based so that there is a team, there's a batch along with you. And then you are nudged by these people also to accomplish something by 12 weeks. So that's what we do. And most of the people here are all part of this particular course. I'm really thankful for that. So thank you very much for that. And now let's go ahead for today's session. Jeff Bezos talks about trends like this. And Nitin and I talk about Jeff Bezos and AWS a lot. Jeff Bezos says, if you adopt the trends, then you have a tailwind. But if you don't, then you are going to be pushed by the competitors outside, right? So that is why I'm very much interested in trends. I look for trends. I try to adopt trends into my own career and into my own life as much as possible so that I am little further away from everybody else. So in that, I asked some of the people, the Gravitas Win students, who are all practitioners. They are not consultants. They have not observed some trends. They are the practitioners. In that way, they are also part of those trends, plus they are shaping those trends as well. So I'm incredibly thankful to all of them to join in today. And I'm going to start with Sarang. Sarang is going to talk about the trends in the educational space, EdTech primarily. He's going to talk about it. And I had the privilege of knowing Sarang for almost now 5 years. I respect him as a technical leader. And Sarang, over to you about EdTech. Sarang, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Joseph, for such kind words. Not really used to for such words, but really feels nice. Yeah. So from when I started looking with this EdTech, what I have realized is as the way the COVID has forced us to a remote working, and it has also impacted in a similar way in EdTech as well. So where it's changing educational experience, the way it is changing our work experience, it is also changing the way we do our education. So the way we did our schooling, I don't believe it will be the same for our kids or the young generation now. And just to validate this statement, there are over 4,530 active EdTech startups in India today. And out of which 435 were founded in last 24 months. And there has been huge investments as well that is happening. So let's say the numbers can be approximately 2.2 billion in 2020 compared to 553 million. So that definitely gives us some validations that there is something happening in that industry. And now the key point to for me to see is what is that exactly happening here. So when I go deeper into that, then I have realized specifically this edtex is being focused on two parts. That's what I feel like it is. One is with which are going with schools, and one is with outside the schools. So yeah, that's exactly the trends. And then they also go into deeper that inside that. Even with school, I have seen some of the startups. Those are coming with they have been telling this new using this new words as a trend, which is extended reality. Like it's a combination of augmented reality and virtual reality, and that's the umbrella name these guys have formed together now. And then when these things are happening, like even there has been earlier startups with an edtech which were like outside their schools, like let's say for an example, coaching students, or they have been coming around with like some smart startups which has been educating you. So these are the trend that I have been looking around. Yeah. If you guys want me to go more into deeper, I can move ahead with that as well. Is that okay?
Yeah, please go ahead. Couple of more minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I go deeper into that, then I have realized basically the which schools guys, they are basically, as I have told, they are focusing more on then extended reality, and then outside school they are focusing more into they are again split into two category. One is the one who's are training you for on pre-job training. So let's say for an example, you are just graduate from an university and you need some experience or some exposure to some skill sets. So these are the guys. Like for an example, Udemy is one name. Then there are other startups as well. Like they are doing their USP, like they will be giving you a jobs. Like few such startups I have seen. Like one is Lambda schools. They have not been charging till the time you get the job. Another one I have seen, it's a Scalar Academy. Yeah, that's what. And even while looking at this edtech, what has been said is like 35% of tech leaders expect an online learning spend to increase for this like coming months, as we see the way it is going due to COVID. And that is how the trends are going. Even if I say this, the in edtech, when they are using as extended reality, you might also correlate the similar situation into other fields. Like the prices for your VR and AR equipments has been dropped, and it is also expected to come those to less to $200 or something. And that's how they are also working on those parts. So if we look at the overall picture, then we can definitely say like it's just not the startup that is increasing, but it is being considered. Like if we say the people movement, the other equipment, software, hardware, and the people. So if we correlate all those things, then I can definitely say there is a huge potential in this industry, and that's what I feel. Yeah. Any questions,
Yeah,
guys?
thanks, Sarang. If anyone, can you share your LinkedIn profile on the chat so that if people want to connect with you and ask you questions, they can. So
Yeah.
please connect with Sarang, and if you have any questions on this, he has been following this particular edtech for quite some time. And any questions if you have, you can talk to him. And today we are going to talk about all of these courses, all of these tech. But if you are interested, then we can go deeper into each of these in the subsequent sessions. So you can connect with me and tell me, hey, we would like individual sessions, and then we can go deeper into it. And if we have time at the end, we can all come back and discuss all of these things. So next, I want to bring in Nitin. Nitin has become a good friend for me. He is also a CTO. I'm also a CTO. He holds a CDO position also. So we keep talking about quite a lot of industry trends, what's happening and why they are happening, and what is relevant in India, and all of those kinds of stuff. I'm things that are happening. Nitin.
Thanks, Joseph. Good evening, everyone. And thank you so much, Joseph, for giving me this opportunity. in front of this wonderful audience. I've been enjoying all your Thursday evening shows a lot, and now I'm starting to look forward to every Thursday evening to be in this show and take away new learnings. And thanks for having multiple speakers here right now, sharing so much of insights from different industries. Thank you so much. Um, okay, so quickly starting, I would want to share something about what being part of the life insurance industry right now. I've worked in the payment industry in the past. Now I'm part of the insurance industry and working in the tech domain right now. I would want to talk about some trends which I'm observing specifically in my current domain, which is on insurance. What I'm noticing that due to COVID, the customer behaviors or the industry behavior has dramatically changed. Insurance so far was a product which used to be sold through face-to-face interactions. Almost 95% policies were being issued through face-to-face interaction. You won't find people just shopping for life insurance and going to website and just purchasing a life insurance policy. You would talk to an agent, face-to-face meeting, do multiple meetings, and then buy a policy. That trend of having face-to-face conversation for 95% policies has now changed to a reversed trend where 100% policies have been sold digitally in the last 1 year of COVID. So that's a very big shift, and people have adapted it, even though it was a forced move, but people have adapted because there is no choice left. So it has immediately led to a deep penetration of digital servicing, digital product availability, and a digital penetration has happened. So, but what has happened is that there are huge challenges which are occurring because of this. If you imagine the customers today, so customers, we all shop on various e-commerce platforms, right? And these e-commerce platforms typically have a lot of data about us because of the high touch points. We go there multiple times, we shop multiple times, we go to Amazon.com, we go to Myntra and do a lot of shopping, right? We leave a lot of digital footprint, and these platforms are learning a lot about us, our choices, right? However, for insurance, you don't shop for insurance or leave a lot of data when you buy an insurance, right? So, but the same customer is now shopping digitally, insurance also shopping digitally, other e-commerce product also. The same customer is having the similar expectation from the insurance industry also, that I should get same personalized behavior, same kind of understanding that, okay, the insurer should understand my needs properly and offer me personalized products, right? However, the insurer is not having that much of digital trail, that much of data. So there's a gap between what insurer currently knows about the customer and what customer is actually expecting. So I'm seeing a trend of increased focus of insurance company focusing a lot on improving the customer experience. So that customer experience will be the central theme for next coming years, because digital has been forced upon to this insurance industry now. So improving the customer experience so that they live up to the increased customer expectation, that because they want to buy digital product, will be very, very important. So there are three things essentially which I see happening. The number one is increased omni-channel experience will be a focus. For example, when I say omni-channel experience, it's not just enough that, okay, I create a mobile app through which the customer can see their premium or pay what is their policy terms and condition, whatever. Okay, this is now a mobile experience, is a hygiene. It used to be delight earlier, but now it has become hygiene, because I won't go to a website of an insurer if they offer a broken mobile experience, because I'll browse on mobile, I'll check on mobile, I'll pay on mobile, I'll do everything on mobile, right? So mobile has become a hygiene, what used to be delight experience, right? Given mobile is a hygiene now, so the need is to offer a rather omni-channel experience, because I can start doing a chat. If let's say on my chat, my answer is not answered through the chatbot, seamlessly the experience should shift to a live agent coming into the play and having the context and start answering the questions. Now, if the live agent, let's say, realizes that, okay, the customer is facing an issue in punching in some details on the website, immediately a co-browsing session should start, where the agent now starts to handle the customer to start filling the information. And similarly, after the co-browsing session is finished, some SMS and email confirmation should go as a to close loop things. Or let's say if I call upon a insurer agent that, okay, I'm interested in so and so, the agent should know that, okay, I have already spent time on the website, I've created certain quotes, and the agent should have that information. The agent should not be asking me same information again from the scratch, that, okay, provide me these details, because I've already left that information on your website, right? So there should be a seamless transfer of information from one channel of engagement, let's say chat, to a phone call, to a web, to an email. So across all channels, omni-channel engagement without dropping the context of the conversation should be there. That is number one point. The second piece with the trend I'm seeing is focus on gathering data, because through only when they have the data, when they know the customer, they can offer those personalized offerings. And why would a customer say that, okay, I should share the data? So before I say that I want data, I should incentivize the user to share the data. For example, can I tell the user that, okay, share your health metrics with me, then I can offer you very personalized quotation for your insurance policy, because I know that, okay, you exercise regularly, you stay fit, your BP is normal, you are very fit, so I'll offer you very reduced pricing of your policy. Or let's say I know that, okay, you are suffering from this is a disease, and I know that, okay, no other insurance is ready to provide you the policy, but I can provide you a policy at a higher price. And since nobody else is providing, and since I know you that since you are suffering from disease, I'm ready to take that risk and provide you the policy. So I need the data, right? So I'm incentivize the user that, okay, I will offer you something, or I will offer you at a reduced price if you offer me that data. Or other way around, that, okay, if you offer me this data, I will possibly ask you very less information, because let's say you share me your eKYC number. I won't ask you all your income details, or I won't ask you for a lot of other details, because I know that you have eKYC account, and I'll just gather all the information about you. I won't ask you to fill 20 different information on the when you purchase a policy, right? So the customers is incentivized to share the information because they are seeing the benefit. So how do they create those whenever they, in all the touch points? The touch points could be, let's say, onboarding touch points could be renewal touch points. It could be, let's say, that when the customer is doing a claim, or let's say customer is completing the policy, term is ending, the customer, we should cross-sell the customer some other policy. So at each and every touch point, how do I incentivize the customer to share more information so that I can improve my offering? The third aspect is, given that, okay, I have the data and also have created the omnichannel experience, the third trend which I'm seeing is around how do I use AI. So when I let's say create a lot of data, I have now an opportunity to crunch the data and create some meaningful insights to optimize my distribution or sales strategy, to optimize my operations. For example, can I automate my entire funnel, lead to appointment to final issuance, or let's say my agent onboarding experience, that, okay, which are the agents who are likely to do policy. Can I create some machine learning models around agent activation, machine learning model around funnel optimization, around underwriting scorecards, let's say around asset allocation, investments, or let's say fraud modeling or grievance modeling, or propensity to of the policy to lapse. So all these are different use cases. I will be able to build all those machine learning models and integrate those models back into the customer user experience, so that customers feel that, okay, that this particular platform knows me well, and which increases the trust, right? Because when the customer starts to feel that, okay, wow, whenever I go to this platform, they know me so well that they offer me so personalized experience to me, and that increases the trust. And the insurance is nothing but trust only. Insurance, when I pay insurance, I'm not getting anything, right? I'm just getting a promise. Insurance is just a promise, and you want to have a promise with somebody whom you trust. So the moment I go to a website and I feel that, okay, this platform knows me so well, they've started to personalize things for me, that increases my trust, and then I would want to keep my promise with them. Because insurance is a promise, right? That I will pay you when there is a bad times for you, then I will come back and pay you. I will take care of your problems. I'll cover you, right? You don't worry. This is my promise. So that building that trust will happen when I start to offer that personalized experience. So I see that, okay, the trend is more about customer experiences, to create more personalized experiences, increase the trust, and the crux will be around the data, like getting the data and then crunching the data to build that insight. So that's a one big area of customer experience which I feel. There are other areas which will be around information and cyber security, which are very, very important, because the moment you start capturing a lot of digital assets of the customer, the security becomes very, very important. And these insurers right now are not ready, equipped enough to handle so much of digital information. So there will be an increased focus on how do we secure information. So information cybersecurity is the second piece. And other area I see on the tech space, basically talking about the tech space, not on the business side. On the tech world, I'm seeing that, okay, there will be a more and more focus of this insurers company modernizing their stack to move to the cloud, let's say. Now people have started to realize that cloud doesn't mean that, okay, they are giving their data to somebody else. Cloud means more security, more availability, high scalability, a trend to be cloud native, and then a focus on API world, so that the seamless integrations with the partners can also happen. So move towards a cloud native, and the API world will be there on the tech side. So that's a high level. So if Joseph can
Thanks,
go, then I can go deeper, but yeah, I'll leave it.
Yeah, Nitin, I mean, as you are speaking, I was thinking, my God, like, I mean, we should have a separate session for insurance tech. So probably I will arrange that one another time. And I don't know about others. We have all, as techies, we have all learned about data, mobile application, and MLs and all of that. Now, for a particular business segment, which is insurance, you really took us through a journey, how the customer starts, mobile, chat, web, and how they are able to give the data and why it is needed. It's basically a trust. You really took us through that particular journey, and I could visualize in my mind that that's going through. So thank you very much for that. Probably we should have a separate session dedicated only to insurance tech. Sure. Thank you very much, Nitin. Sure. Appreciate it. If you can share your LinkedIn URL, maybe others can connect with you, and then if they have any questions, they can ask you as well. Thank you very much, Nitin. Thank you. And it's always, once I have been speaking all the time for all of these sessions, I've been speaking all the time. Now I have to keep quiet and listen. It's really a tough thing, but I'm managing. Hey, Joe. So Joe, he's into 3D printing. Again, 3D printing is something which we do not hear on a regular basis. As digital people, we all talk only about data engineering, AI, and all of those kinds of stuff. We don't talk anything about physical. I thought it would be better to bring in Joe, who can talk about what's happening on the 3D printing, what are all the things, what does 3D printing mean, and what's all happening, and how it could shape us in the future. So I'm happy to have Joe. Joe, over to you.
Thank you, Jude. I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, Joe, go ahead.
All right. So I have just 3 points to share. What was yesterday on 3D printing, or what 3D printing was actually, and today where we are now, and what future it holds actually. So just 3 short points. And to start with, the history of 3D printing. I believe 3D printing never came up overnight. It all started with Industrial Revolution, when we first had our trains being connecting each of us, and then came the mass manufacturing. Then 3D printing was in pros when we were already working on computers and things like that. So by mid 80s, there were few academic patents on how can we make a product directly from design, not through multiple machines, but just one machine that can print n number of shapes, right? It can be simple a pen, it can be a lampshade, it can be our keychain, whatever it be. One machine that can do all jobs of all other machines. That was the idea. So this idea was very well received by the automotive industry, and the material that they worked on were plastics and paper and few other simple stuffs, right? So, and to some extent, they were carving wood and things like that. So when automotive industry thought that, okay, I have huge number of plastic products going in my car, and I wanted to use this technology in a way that I wanted to see much before it goes in for mass manufacturing. So they call it as rapid prototyping. Late 1980s and early 1900s as well, 1990s as well. So, and this was the beginning of how 3D printing was. And when it came into metal, happy to say that we were the first one to commercialize metal printing for the wide world. So we even started with printing tools, not direct parts. How can we print tools for plastic molds? How can we print tools for die casting or sheet metal forming? And this is where we started even to print a metal part and then use it as a tool, right? So that is where we stopped, and it got a different. It went on a spin actually, just like a spin ballers, right? So it never hit the target of mass manufacturing. It was always working on tools or to some extent on spare part market. Even spare part was a huge market by that time. And today, when we see companies like Evo Buzzers and CAT and these people, they work on spare parts adoption with metal 3D printing. Not only metal, but even with polymer, plastics, composites also have come up. And you can Google it and see how many, you can even print your own house, you can print your organs, you can print your food. Number of things have come up. The application of 3D printing has, in fact, gone into exponential growth. So today, if we wanted to enter into mass manufacturing, even mass manufacturing has few hurdles to come up, and that is where the next industrial revolution is going to be all about. So when we talk about mass manufacturing hurdles, number one, it has to be completely automated. To some extent, we have seen completely automated factory, not to a great extent, but it is maturing. And secondly is about how can we have a very intelligent design. When we say intelligent design, let's take for example a house, right? So if we have to make an arch within our house, so there has to be number of supports in order to make an arch, right? I mean, everybody has seen how a house has been constructed. So take it in terms of 3D printing, it's fairly simple. So you do not have exhaustive number of supports. If you can think and if you can code it to the machine, and you can get it by, let's say, in 1 week or so, that particular geometry or the shape being constructed by 3D printer. So whereas this is not possible with conventional manufacturing, and that is a very big advantage with 3D printing. Now, 3D printing has its own specific hurdles as well. Like for example, today there are some of the materials that we use in conventional manufacturing. We cannot directly do away with 3D printing. Let's say if you want to have a transparent pen, something like this, you need special process to make a transparent pen with 3D printing. And that is where the research of 3D printing is going about. And let's say many people come to us and say, okay, Joe, 3D printing, fantastic tech. It can make wonderful shapes, geometry, whatever be it is. But your machine is very expensive. What can we do about it? Now, this is the core idea of 3D printing. It can replace n number of machines, not just one machine. It can replace n number of machines, whether it's holes, a drilling machine, whether it can to shape away a simple lathe. Yeah, it can do multiple jobs. So that is where we need to think about, okay, I'm going to replace all these machines with just one tool. Engineers talk in terms of tools, right? So I'm going to replace one tool. So probably the cost can be substantiate when I replace number of machines. So that we need to think in terms of business perspective. And one final hurdle which 3D printing is going through is today, if you want to put a CNC very close to the seaside, you can do it, no issues. No corrosion issue, no raw material issue, and things like that. But 3D printing cannot be so. It needs a very controlled atmosphere and things like that. Even if you wanted to use it in a school, probably you have to store your raw materials in a safe condition. So that is where we need a lot of frugal innovations where we can go and address at very localized markets. And this is where today's scenario of 3D printing is all about. Now, in terms of futuristic scenario, right? So any idea what Industrial Revolution 5 is? Any idea? No?
Eco-friendly.
Sorry?
Eco-friendly.
Okay. Right. So I'll give away the answer. It is mass manufacturing. and intelligent machines. So systems talking to each other and then designing products for us. Now, I have an incident to share. By mid 2000s, right? So 2000s, I had issues with two of my tooth. So I went to doctor, dentist, and he said that I had to get my RC done, root canal treatment done. So, and then he dug out whatever the waste was in. And then he says, okay, Joe, come back in 3 days time, we will have it. Right. So 2 days later, I get a call from office, from the dentist office, and he says, Joe, come over, your cap is ready. Okay, so I go there and he puts a cap, fits perfectly, fantastic, job done. So I asked, how come it was 3 days, but then you gave me on the second day itself? He said, don't you know that there is a metal 3D printer that can print your copings? Wow. Okay. So by that time itself, mid 2000s itself, we had mass customization with metal 3D printing, polymer 3D printing. So it's nothing new. It's already there, and 3D printing has initiated that. And today, we see companies like Mini Cooper, we see companies like Boeing going in for distributed manufacturing, addressing these localized markets. So we are already in the game. And who is the biggest driver for Industry 5.0? Any idea again? It's a country which has got the maximum population. Because if you have maximum population, you have diversified cultures and diversified markets, and you need very localized, regionalized products. And India is such a big country, right? We call it a subcontinent. And if today, if you order a customized cell phone cover even, you are part of Industry 5.0. You are driving the fifth industrial revolution. So that's where 3D printing is all about. And 3D printing is already there in Industry 5.0. Thank you very much, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. I really appreciate you taking time to educate us on this. This is something we don't normally discuss about. We only talk about digital, all of that. So it was really good. So I was thinking, internally at home, we discuss about where should I retire and where should we build a house. So I think probably I'll wait for a couple of more years, and then probably I'll just print the house. Now I will not build the house. I will call Joe, hey, I need a 3-bedroom, 5-bedroom house,
It's so
and he
cool.
will print it.
So cool. Yeah, sure.
He will print it out for me, right? So please share your LinkedIn URL. I think everybody wants to connect with you and get an update on how they can print their house.
Absolutely.
Good. Thank you very much, Joe. Again, if any of you are interested in knowing this more, if you think we need to discuss deep dive into this, please let me know. Joe is into sales, but so in that particular sense, he's really busy. So Joe, thank you very much for taking the time to come. I really appreciate that. Okay, so now we are back to what we normally like to speak, right? So which is cloud, which is digital, which is internet, and all of those kinds of stuff. So I have Pradeep with me, who is going to talk about cloud and cloud native applications. Nitin already touched a piece of that. I hope Pradeep will build on top of that. And over to you, Pradeep.
Thanks, Joseph. Let me share my screen quickly. Okay, you need to allow Joseph. Yeah, I got it. Okay, I just prepared 2 slides to explain it better. Okay. Okay, so welcome everyone. Today, actually, I'm going to talk about what is cloud computing and how does it work. So you all know that cloud computing is the on-demand availability of computer system resources, especially data storage, computing power, and without a direct active management of by the user actually. So look at the way of digitization. It's changing almost, you can see almost all the industry taking it. You can take banking sector just now. Nitin talked about insurance sector, and you can take any sector, government sectors also. Everyone is trying to adopt cloud computing. So before when we are talking about cloud, right? Cloud means actually talking about a data center. So let me explain what exactly the cloud and how it looks. So, and for anyone who might not be familiar with them, it's actually a data center is actually a big box in the middle of nowhere with full of computers, which generally generates a lot of heat. Thus the AC units, you see the AC units. So no matter what, right, today your businesses of all types need computers. And whether it's managing logistics or payroll, there are all sorts of use cases where businesses of all types need computers. Thus we have this big data centers. So you take all types need computers. So thus we have big data centers in the middle of nowhere. So no matter what, the business of all types need computers. For example, if we are going to talk about toilet paper company CEO, so here is our CEO, so who runs the toilet paper company, but still has one of these data centers in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of computers. So running things like he's actually running things like payroll, logistics, all that things in his own data center. Okay, the thing about these boxes in the middle of nowhere, which has full of computers, is that they take up a lot of money. They are very big budget item in terms of real estate expertise, right? So you got to have experts who know how to manage these computers themselves, to manage these computers, and the electricity cost, then the management of the software and software licensing and all that, right? So there are a lot of different types of costs associated with this. So it's all very important, right, to the business. But looking at all of this budget, right, sometimes making our CEO feels like big box in the middle of nowhere. No SEO. So this makes our toilet paper company CEO not so happy. So that's where the cloud comes in. The cloud doesn't get rid of these data centers actually. It's just someone else running. You all might be aware of this popular sticker that says there is no cloud. Actually, it's just someone else's computer. The cloud is basically a business that runs these data centers for other businesses, right? So it changes the way that looks on the budget, and sometimes this can make our CEO very happy, right? And an important thing to remember with this is that the majority of workloads today are still being run in the data center, and majority of workloads have not been run in the cloud style. So this is still very relevant situation that's happening. Every day companies are looking at their data center and deciding, maybe I want to switch to a cloud model. So that's something that a lot of people who are really involved in cloud native don't think about it, right? So if a company decides that they want to start getting involved with a cloud, what does that look like? So if I say one model is like lift and shift. So you have your all applications, your all things you just have to lift and shift. So it's basically take all the stuff what you have, what that's running in your data center, and lift it up and shift it into the cloud as is, or as close to as it as possible. Okay, that's lift and shift option for a lot of businesses, because you can take all the stuff running in your data center, the stuff that's running in your data center, and just run it in the cloud. It's all very important, right? You still need it, and that changes the way that your budget looks immediately. And but the main reason that a lot of business adopt cloud isn't actually the budget model. If you see, it's not actually the budget model at all. It's the way they want to go through a process of app modernization. They want to take all of their existing application and software that they have to run, and they want to make it all easier, more streamlined. And I think that running in the cloud will allow them to do that, right? So, and why do they think that's where the cloud concept and of cloud native comes in the cloud actually? So the cloud is actually a unique place where you compare to a data center. Let's think about a data center for a minute. Say that you want to spin up a new machine learning team, and they are going to need special hardware to do what they need to do. They probably have pretty considerable requirements for the computing power that they need. So you might have to order new machines for your data center that you didn't have before. That means figuring out what ordering place. I mean, you have to order and physical order, waiting for that, and comes in. Then having experts to put all that stuff in your data center, rack it up, and getting it all cabling right, and then maybe your team can start using it. So that's a lot of lead time from idea to development, correct? So whereas in the cloud, you have someone else running these big data centers, and you can just say, hey, I want this specialized type of equipment right now. They'll just give it to you. You will have to pay for it, of course. But you have the opportunity to have those things for more instantly, right? So running in the cloud provides new opportunities and ways to run your applications and your workloads that you might not have had in traditional data center. And that's what we call cloud native. It's using the unique capabilities of the cloud to your advantage. And when it comes to moving from an existing data centers into the cloud, if you want to modernize existing applications, that often means considerable re-architecting of those existing systems. And it means that when you are designing new systems that are going to be totally cloud native, that going to be need a different set of expertise. So that's the reason the trend is everyone looking to adopt cloud. That's all I had for today to talk about it. If there is anything in deep you want to discuss, I'll share my LinkedIn profile and we can discuss further.
Thank you. Thanks, Pradeep. Yeah, please share your LinkedIn, and people can connect with you. And as you rightly said, so far it has been only lift and shift. I don't think even today, the companies which are starting today, and this is, as a CTO, this is something that I'm always emphasizing, and probably to if I may use the word, fighting. People are still thinking from a client server, their own data center perspective. They are still not utilizing the power of cloud native. Even within my own company, I keep saying we need to move to cloud. And a lot of times we don't understand. Even I don't understand all of the power that comes with cloud. So thank you. I mean, again, this is a start, and we will go from here. Maybe subsequently we can have a discussion, deeper dive discussion on what does it mean as cloud native on all of the aspects. Maybe we can bring in Nitin also into it, and we can take a use case and then say, okay, what does it mean as using cloud native when we are talking about mobile application, when we are talking about building AI model, when we are talking about data visualization? What does it mean as on-prem and cloud native? What's the difference, right? And then we can have a discussion on that, and I would expect that. Good. So we have had Sarang, Nitin, Joe, and Pradeep. I thought we'll finish up with a bang, and that's why I brought in my baby sister Joyce. I'm glad to have her. It's always nice to talk to her. It is not just because she's my sister. I always find it very interesting to talk to her. Some of you may not know, some knows. I mean, Pradeep and few people know. She holds 9 patents. And it's, yeah, yes, Nitin. It is, she is very, very knowledgeable in the cloud and anything to do with cloud. She has been talking about a mobile. She architected mobile notifications and so on and so forth. Again, she's somebody who can keep talking for hours, even though she doesn't talk much. She can keep talking and we can learn quite a lot from her. Today, I asked her to present about edge computing. So what is edge computing? That is something that is growing up as well. So what is edge computing? Why is it interesting? And what will happen if edge computing becomes mass? So Joyce, over to you. Thank you. You are on mute, Joyce.
Okay, yeah, I missed that. Sorry. Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Jutes. And I don't get to hear such good words generally. I think once in a lifetime moment for me. So yeah, with that, so talk about edge computing. It's in the opposite of what just Pradeep talked about. Before I go into the edge computing side, it's dinner time. I want to order pizza. So let's see how this is related to edge computing. So assume that I'm living in, I live in Bangalore. So assume that there are no smaller branches of, take an example of Domino's Pizza because I like that. So I want to order pizza now, and there are no smaller branches. There's only one main location. And I live in Attibale, and say the main location is the main branch, which is available in MG Road. It's almost like 30 kilometers from my place. And say, for example, I'm ordering today's dinner, and by the time it reaches me, there are two problems that I'll face. One is delay, because obviously it's 30 kilometers. And for the main branch to serve me, it is going to take so much time. And another problem is obviously it will not serve the purpose because it's going to be cold by the time it reaches me. Definitely these two problems I'll face. So to solve this problem, I need smaller branches. I need some smaller branches near my location so that irrespective of my location, I should be able to get the pizza on time with the purpose. Basically, it should not be cold. It should be served hot, whatever my requirements are. So it's basically the smaller branches that is required so that the customer satisfaction is achieved. Smaller branches are nothing but the edge servers. And the main branch is basically what Pradeep talked about, is basically the cloud data center. So that's where, that's how it is actually. So edge computing is nothing but it's a concept of bringing computing services closest to the, like the smaller branches that I talked about. It actually complements a hybrid computing model where what happens is the centralized computing, whatever Pradeep talked about cloud computing, can be used for compute intensive workloads, and edge will be used for near real-time workloads. There can be processing of near real-time workloads which is required, and that can be done with the edge. So there's always a question when you talk about cloud computing, particularly when we talk about cloud edge computing and cloud computing, there's always a question whether edge computing is going to replace cloud computing. It's not that way. So it's basically edge computing unlocks the data in cloud, but still the actual storage of the process data still remains in the cloud computing data centers, especially cloud data centers. The edge is only serving the near real-time data. That's how it works. So they go edge computing and cloud computing. So that's what is edge computing. So some examples of edge computing can be like driverless vehicles, basically the autonomous vehicles on the road. So it has to know so it has to know the traffic conditions so that it can avoid collisions or accidents. It knows how to travel. So it's a driverless vehicle. So they have to connect to the near edge server, which actually collects all the data from various devices and serves the data to the traffic conditions to each of the cars that is on the road. So that's one example. And another example can be an oil company wanted to decide where to drill. And it needs the real-time data about what are the drilling conditions. They have many attributes. So based on that, they wanted to decide where to drill. And these data are served by the edge servers, actually. And the important and interesting example could be the gaming. gaming which streams a live feed of game directly to the devices. Because if I have to serve it from the cloud and the gaming is going to be so slow, basically the latency, and I'm not going to be interested in the game. So it has to be from an edge server so that it collects all the data. My kid plays every Sunday with my my brother's sons. So it's basically a cloud. It cannot go to the cloud data center and retrieve the data, because then it's going to be too slow and the kids are not going to be interested at all. After one day of playing, they'll just get irritated and they'll not continue playing. So it has to be real time and it has to be fast. For that, it has to be coming from an edge server. Basically, the movements of my Josephine and my kid has to be in served from the edge server instead of the cloud data center. So that's where the edge is actually helpful. So with that, what are the trends of computing, where it is going to? Thing is IoT, which is basically Internet of Things. For those who are new to IoT, it's basically the embedded sensors or softwares and the technologies which is connecting all the devices together. So that's IoT. And IoT, AI, and edge computing go hand in hand. So that's basically what is driving the future. So IoT, which is all about data processing, and there are a lot of data that is collected, processed, and that's where edge will actually help IoT to grow. So that's one area. And if you extend IoT, there's Internet of Behavior, which is also the next level of growth, which is basically Internet of Growth, or IOB, which is nothing but the detecting the, basically it is capturing data to interpret the based on the person's interaction, we interpret the people's behavior. In fact, it goes to the extent of influencing the people's behavior. So that's what IOB is all about, and which is an extension to IoT, and computing and IOB are the future actually. So IOB is going, edge computing will take IOB to the next level by helping in processing the data faster. And yeah, obviously when we are talking about processing of data, analytics and data analytics is part of it, and obviously we cannot avoid talking about AI and ML. So the key thing is like AI and ML optimized hardware is available in all our devices. It's geographically distributed, and there are a lot of data to process. So obviously the AI and ML has to be very efficient. And the on-device machine learning has actually moved to the next level with frameworks like TensorFlow Lite or TinyML, or even open standards are supporting such things. Open standards like Open Neural Network Exchange, ONNX, all these are actually supporting or taking AI and ML to the next level of on-device machine learning and data analytics. And that makes edge also a reality and makes it to be actually taken to the next level of data processing. That's one thing. And obviously, we all being in COVID-19, this COVID-19 drives the innovation at the edge too, because we all work from home. There are a lot of data. There are a lot of data to be processed. So there's a lot of work to be done at the edge. All these data cannot be sent to the cloud and data centers and to get processed. So that's something that is actually driving the innovation at the edge also. And very importantly, the 5G part. I think that's one of the major thing which is taking edge to the next level, which is about telco operators. Basically, the telecommunication operators want to virtualize their mobile networks, which is basically in mobile in mobile network layer. We call it as virtualized radio access networks, VRAN, and this is the way they virtualize their mobile networks. And this really provides all the telco operators a cost and flexibility benefits, because obviously any virtualization is all about cost and flexibility. So the same way it is actually giving cost and flexibility benefits to telco. And what happens is this doing a complex processing, and obviously that's the same thing that edge service provides. So these operators will therefore need edge server and actually have a low latency, high complex processing power. so that these mobile networks can be virtualized. So that's which is very close to their cell tower. That's important. So that's another area where edge computing is being taken to the next level. Yeah, that's basically what I had. If there are any questions, yeah.
Thanks, Joyce. Thanks. She's also doing a PhD, so you could have seen a bit of professorship even she was talking. And one of the thing is, many a times I don't understand what she's talking. And today also a lot of things went over my bald head. So which is normal. I don't know about
pizza, right? You understood pizza, right? That's important.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I hope all of you got something out of the variety of topics that we talked about. And the way I see what Pradeep talked about and what Joyce talked about, let's say for some the cloud computing and the edge computing, those are going to be the ones that are the platform ones, those are the base ones upon which what Nitin and Sarang talked about is going to happen. The education tech and insurance tech are going to rely more and more on these kinds of edge computing and the cloud computing. So it would be interesting to see how it's all going to come in. And we will all do that by sitting in a house that is printed by Joe. So I think it's going to be really interesting when we are moving on. Who knows? Maybe he will also print us good laptops for all of us. So it's all going to be interesting stuff for us. And thank you. Thanks, Sarang, Nitin, Pradeep, Joe, and Joyce for taking your time to join and share your knowledge. I really enjoyed, and I hope all of you enjoyed as well. And this particular Luma will send you an email. So please provide me with their feedback. It would help me to improve upon. And Joyce, if you can share your LinkedIn profile, that everybody else can connect with you as well. So which is good. Thank you very much. Stay safe. See you next week. Thank you very much.